So that's the other thing. We've uncovered a bit of information that there was a writer who lived in the cabin. Also, this box full of infinite revolver ammo. I'm super scared, guys. This is a scary game.
I just want to consider that in the context of the world.
Exactly.
You need a gun. You're gonna need a gun and ammo.
Yeah.
Make sure you have that.
Do you think it's gonna be scary? I think it might be scary.
I'm scared.
But yeah, the other thing is the cabin disappeared from the lake. Like the one where they were staying at just straight up disappeared from the lake, so it's not there anymore. But when we were there previously, we found a box of books written by a guy named Thomas Zane. Thomas Zane. And
I used to read the Thomas Zanes back in the 90s.
He apparently wrote a lot of books, but Alan Wake didn't recognize anything about him.
Are you Thomas Zane?
What's up?
Are you Thomas Zane?
No.
Is that it? Is Alan Wake?
No, you're actually
Thomas
Darth
Zane?
Raven.
You're actually dead.
It's Revan, not Raven.
Damn it. We're dead the whole time, aren't we?
We're simultaneously Bruce Willis, Darth Revan, and Brad Pitt.
And we killed Dumbledore.
Yeah, and we
I want to wonder what happened in this mine that these miners needed a giant dumpster full of bullets.
Exactly. And also, what happened to these train cars?
Do you know anything about coal mining history? Because a dumpster full of bullets does not sound too far out of the realm of reality.
I'm just saying, like, a dumpster full of loose ammunition. Also, this is a coal mine.
Sounds legit.
Or did you say coal mine?
Yeah.
I thought you said gold mine.
No, coal mine. Super scary.
Yeah, I like that. I also like that Alan Wake is master of all weapons.
Exactly.
Or at least of
fired a gun before in his life, but then murders millions of supernatural dudes. Just like cuts a swath through the entire army of darkness.
I guess if you interpret this as I don't know, if you interpret it as some kind of metaphor or mental trauma, then I guess.
Well, it definitely has aspects of meta-narrative to it, in that he very clearly has been shown to be writing parts of what's going on in some supernatural way. So he basically has seemed to have written his ability to shoot things.
So you want to think that every time you die and come back, that's him just like tearing that page out of the notebook and throwing it in the trash?
Exactly.
It's like, do you ever play the original Prince of Persia?
Yep.
The Sands of Time? I guess not the original, but because the original was an arcade game, but...
Yeah.
I just like the whole part that anytime you died, he's like, no, wait, that's not what happened. Yeah. After one of my friends saw that, he tried to narrate everything.
Oh, you get flashbangs.
And so it's this whole, like, and then I jumped from this platform to this platform, and I flew into spikes, and I died. No, wait, that's not what happened.
My target priority while playing this game is a little suspect. Let's shoot the guy further away, right?
Yeah.
That's how a lot of targeting systems work.
That's pro gameplay strats.
They assume that you'd I think, what was it, the way that Yahtzee phrased it, most gameplay targeting systems assume that you're trying to shoot the crumbs off the whiskers of a nearby mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than the chainsaw-wielding maniac that is getting up in your grill.
So this is an interesting little thing. It is something made of darkness trapped in a train car. And presumably, you have to open this up and fall down there with them. But I have a better idea. Oops. That's where I fucked up. And...
What was it?
Exactly.
Oh, God!
It's a fucking...
It's a box!
Your refrigerator.
It's a stove, actually.
Oh, my God.
Admittedly, they might have set it up so that if you're smart, you could do that, but...
What the hell?
Oh dear.
Oh, that looks like a darkness tornado.
Oh.
Nancy M!
We've been in Kansas all along.
That's the secret. That's the horror.
That's the twist.
That's the real horror.
The only way to reach the hillside ahead was to go through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
Just end it all, Alan.
They can't touch me if I'm made of light. So yeah, that's where
Oh god, what?
those things explode. And remember what I said about combat mechanics with the cars?
Oh.
I do like that you can hit them with the headlights.
Oh yeah, you can also focus the headlights. Just like focus your high-powered flashlight.
Make the light better.
I guess did you turn on your high beams?
It may be, except the light beam's narrow.
Glad that I'm guessing that guardrail was placed there after a lot of playtesting.
Probably.
Dare fall off of that cliff.
Your car's gonna explode.
Oh no,
The
the darkness infested the car.
I just that was the greatest moment when I hit that barrel and I realized, oh, those things blow up. Cool. Good.
Beautiful.
No.
Oh, flare gun. That's also an auto win.
Mm-hmm.
It's an even better auto win because it blows things everywhere.
Yeah, it does require a bit more skill in the flashbang because you have to aim it at groups and you have to get them grouped up. The flashbang just has a ridiculous area of effect where you can just throw it and guys that are dozens of meters apart just explode and disappear.
That's true.
Oh yeah, scary objects.
No.
Super scary. So scary.
Darkness, quit using telekinesis.
Darkness, why you gotta be like that?
But speaking of which, Sam,
Yes.
you probably knew about this already, but in case you ever come up with any ideas of stuff to run for Wild Talents,
Mm-hmm.
I found a random Wild Talents character generator.
Oh, nice.
What?
If you happen to want that,
Okay.
it will randomly stat out a 250 point character.
Shit.
So if you're doing a villain or something,
Mm-hmm.
you could just take what it gives you and then add a little bit to it.
Make the darkness.
The darkness.
Darkness. No, there already is one. Shit.
And I think I threw
And?
the one. All right.
Darkness is actually my favorite, not quite superhero.
Well, the darkness is only one half of that guy, isn't it?
No.
Jackie Estacado.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Jackie Estacado.
Yeah, so Jackie, but the darkness is what infests him, isn't it? He is not
Yeah,
himself
but-
the darkness.
He controls it, kind of, after a while, depending on which one you read.
Guys, I'm really good at video games, guys.
You really are.
Guys, I'm super good at
Take a drink every time Sam dies.
There's gonna be some parts where that's gonna be really, really difficult to stay conscious and alive.
This is the drunk and the ugly. Just do it.
What the fuck did you just do with that?
I tried to shoot one of the explosive barrels trying to see if it would help me out with this thing, and it didn't do shit.
No, it didn't.
I think I only have to do this twice before I beat it. I think the first time I thought I had one fewer flashbangs than I really did, so I didn't use it.
Like that you killed that before it even got the chance to hit you.
Exactly. Before it even got a chance to be spooky.
It got its chance. That was last time. You know, that's one of the things that I really like about just this kind of thing. One of the things I like about Amnesia: The Dark Descent is that they actually they have all of the combat encounters actually change every time you die.
Oh, really? That's cool. I didn't know.
Yeah. So so that because they recognize the fact that it gets a lot less scary the second time around because you know what's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amnesia games are so spooky.
They're very spooky. This turns into not a spooky game. It turns very much into a thriller run and gun game.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to happen when you include the elements of running and gunning.
Exactly.
I think thriller is a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Kind of like for movies that we don't like. We don't want to knock them for not being very scary, so we call them thrillers.
Well, I mean, at the same time, like you wouldn't call Phone Booth a horror movie.
No.
Because it builds tension and stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't have anything that's inherently like scary to it. It's just it builds your nerves and stuff like that. It has a lot of the same elements of horror.
What if
actual horrific things?
Well, I mean, what if it scares you into never wanting to go into a phone booth again?
I think that you put too much stock into that movie. Then.
Okay.
I did really
We're talking about Jaws.
I did really like that movie though.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie. It just was. It's not a psychological horror movie.
Yeah.
Do you consider Jaws a horror or a thriller?
A thriller. Any movie where the protagonist lives is not a horror movie.
So one of the things I would say, I think Caleb said about horror, or Caleb Stokes said about horror, is that horror isn't about monsters or anything like that. It's about like an idea. And I think if a movie is able to drill a certain idea into your head that you're not able to shake, and that idea happens to be scary, you call that a horror movie. Because like Phone Booth is like there's a lot of tension in that. It does a lot of good things, but like at the same time, it's such an outlandish circumstance.
Yeah, you're not gonna go into a phone booth and have a sniper on you every time.
I mean, at the same time, I don't know how we would describe something like The Ring, because I'm not gonna ever find a cursed videotape.
No.
Look, okay.
Yeah.
The Ring is spooky.
Oh yeah, no. I saw that movie and I had to like cover my TV up for a week.
Oh yeah, no. I physically am not able to watch that movie because it absolutely gets at the things that are scary to me, which is things that fuck with electronics. And I've never watched that movie all the way through because I just nope out every time I try.
Oh, it's so good.
I know that, but I physically cannot do it.
I think it also demonstrates a lot of and then there's going to be a lot of people that talk about the Japanese one, which honestly I've never watched. I've heard everybody says it's the superior one.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you get purists.
Exactly. Well, and you're always gonna have pretty much always remakes are going to be less good because they are designed for different audiences, and with especially American remakes, they're absolutely designed with American audiences in mind.
See, in that line of thought, though, I actually prefer the American version of The Ring because it scares me more because I am an American.
Yeah. It appeals to your own
Very
sensibilities. True. Yeah.
But there's also the case of fucking Let the Right One In versus the American remake Let Me In, which is terrible.
There's also
and Let the Right One In is so good.
There's also One Missed Call, the Japanese one that's 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and One Missed Call, the American version, that is 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. All right, manuscript page. Some of the taken retained echoes of their former selves, but these were just the nerve twitches of a dead thing. Nothing remained but a shell covered and filled with darkness. In most cases, these puppets were done enough for the purposes of the dark presence. But for anything more elaborate, as with the writer, it was different. It needed his mind. And so rather than taking him over completely, it merely touched him.
Gross.
Gross.
Show me on the doll where the darkness touched you.
Alan Wake / Darkness fanfic. Let's hear it.
Do it.
Also, man, for as much ammo as they gave you, you're starting to run kind of low. Although you did, you did have to fight like a million things.
Exactly. That was a big fight, and there was not a lot of ammo that resupplied me, but I guarantee you in about 5 minutes I'm going to find a massive ammo cache.
Darkness tree!
And you know,
Darkness tree.
the thing that occurs to me about this game is that there's a lot of horror games that do have combat mechanics, but it occurs to me that they don't focus on that. It's not the central thing. Like, there are monsters, and you want to be away from them, and the weapons and stuff like that are sort of I don't know how to get around this. I'm just going to go through it, and they give you a very
absolutely.
small amount.
You know, in something like Silent Hill, you're always going to be better off, in most cases, running from the monsters.
Yeah, totes.
But in this, running from the monsters is not viable because they fucking teleport. They teleport to where you are, but via darkness powers. Like, I've tried. You cannot get away from them faster than you can just try and kill them.
Well, there's also
close off the next area.
Yeah, there's also set piece moments where you have to sit and like defend a gate for a long time. Also, what is going on here?
There are patches of oily black darkness that block your. They're like
landmines.
Landmines, basically.
That's silly.
Darkness puddles.
Yeah.
Oh, I got darkness on my shoe.
Super spooky. Super spooky. They just
At least they stopped doing the zoom out thing.
Oh no, they only did it because I was too far away when it triggered. Well, and it's also super formulaic, the enemy composition. Like, it's 2 smaller guys and 1 big guy, and sometimes it's 2 of those groups. Or, you know, sometimes it's 4 guys that all throw axes at you and 1 guy that runs up on you.
Right. It's mostly just to try and make you.
What it is it's game padding. It absolutely is. Like,
yeah.
This game would be so much better if it had, you know, 2/3 the less, or 2/3 fewer fights. You know, the game would be faster. The story would be better. You know, because it wouldn't be so narratively dissonant. You know, because there's a ton of stuff that goes on, like, you know, you're running around the wilderness, around these woods, fighting these people that are supposed to be the possessed townspeople. But nobody comments that people have gone missing. There's barely any notice of the townspeople of what's going on. And, you know, you're running around the wilderness firing and blowing things up, and no one cares.
Yeah, and
the FBI guy cares.
Yeah,
he does care.
He cares about you. He doesn't care that you
Manuscript page.
Manuscript. I stared through the bars of the jail cell. Barry stood behind me, swaying on his feet, looking as ill as I felt. Agent Nightingale stood on the other side of the bars with Sheriff Breaker. Nightingale had a stack of manuscript pages in his hand. He seemed unhinged as he gloated. Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here, all the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun!
Raymond Chandler?
Oh, yeah. Nightingale calls you by different authors' names all the time.
Oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah,
That's
and Raymond Chandler is amusing, and it's something I laughed at while I was playing this, because I realized that's exactly what the story is it's 2 guys with guns kick down the door as soon as there's a slight pause in the action.
Who's Raymond Chandler?
He was a mystery thriller writer who was famous for, you know, setting pacing by, you know, if something occurred in a scene that, you know, seemed to change the nature of what was going on, 2 guys with guns kick down the door and attack the protagonist. And like that's not exaggeration. It happens all the time. You know, and it's genre specific and it works sometimes, but it also
works great for role playing games.
If that wasn't enough,
oh yeah,
I'd hold him
upgraded
at gunpoint
shotgun.
and make him talk.
Wait, didn't you already have a pump action shotgun?
No, I just had a double barrel.
Oh, huh.
What's your favorite Stephen King?
My favorite Stephen King novel?
Just in general.
I like the Stephen King that's from Kansas. No, my favorite Stephen King novel, excepting the Dark Tower series, is actually Duma Key.
Actually, what?
Duma Key. It's one that he wrote after the Dark Tower series was finished, and it's 2 books after Cell came out. So he wrote Cell right after the Dark Tower series finished, and Cell was god awful.
Yeah, Cell was really bad.
And then he wrote a novel called Lisey's Story, which was really good, but was very different from his other novels, and was really, really, really sad, actually. And then he wrote Duma Key, which was a big, long, lengthy novel, and it's probably the greatest thing he's ever written.
That's cool.
You know, it's
Oh no, guys!
it's sad that Cell is the only thing by Stephen King I've ever read.
Yeah,
Oh.
that
that is
basically
pretty
was the worst possible thing by him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was special.
Yeah.
Very special. Also, I that was
Cell
back.
in-
I read that back when I used to read. I actually still read most of my books in bed before going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I decided to read a horror novel before going to sleep.
Well, luckily for you, it's not really a scary novel.
And some parts at the beginning are pretty.
Yeah, the parts where it's a zombie book are good, but
And then
Yeah,
then about halfway through, it gets really weird.
real dumb.
Yeah, No.
So, am I safe in assuming that you do not have a favorite Stephen King, Matt?
No, I have not. I've only read one thing.
Trees,
No, darkness trees.
such trees,
How
very.
about you, Nate?
The dark presence was
Wow.
moving ahead of me in the same
Probably The
direction
Stand.
I was going.
Yeah,
A cold
The Stand's really
feeling
good.
settled itself in the pit of my stomach. Was it going for Alice?
Oh, no crosses.
It's a graveyard.
Religious imagery.
Yeah, I feel favorable for the Stand, even though there's a lot of parts in it that are just. I was telling I mentioned this to Chris, but the other night. But one of the things about Stephen King that like, oh god, bad things just happen.
Oh,
Oh god.
way to get out of there.
I know, right? Luckily, these guys just run around and don't try and attack you all that often. They're just really annoying. Anyway, you were saying?
One of the things with Stephen King that I've experienced is like he writes good stuff, but when you go back and think about them,
Yeah.
you don't remember everything about them
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
because he writes good stuff with padding in between.
Oh yeah. Well, and The Stand is really that, especially if you read the unedited version,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is superior because it has a better story. But it's just like, holy god, there's so much padding to it.
Yeah, and not all that's really particularly important. And he kind of does that a lot with all of his books, where like
Yeah.
he has he has stuff included in his books that have nothing to do with like plot or character development. They're just scenes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and especially the other one I've noticed that really does that is It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because there's like those 4 like short stories that occur in the fucking middle of the book that
Right.
are so long and only give you a little bit more information about what's going on. And actually, I've noticed that a lot of his stuff that was written in the 80s and 90s does that, and his more recent stuff is actually much better paced. But he's really hit or miss.
Yeah, pretty much.
This guy is running
when I was talking
around.
about, I kind of equated him to Dickens in that respect.
To oh yeah, Dickens, yeah.
And that Dickens does that a lot too, where he just has, where he has good books, but you only remember parts of them.
Well, and
Like you remember where point A was.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember what happened at point A, and you remember what happened at point B. But there was like a series of 70 pages between point A and point B that you have no idea what the fuck happened there.
Exactly. Well, and part of that is because he wrote serially, and all his stuff was published, chapter by chapter in newspapers.
Right. Well, he also got paid by word.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Stephen King does the same thing though. He doesn't get paid by word, obviously, but it's still the same sort of deal where like
he has a very similar style of writing.
Where yeah, you remember the events at point A, you remember the ones at point B, but the 70 pages of journey between there is just like you don't even know.
So I'd like to point out.
Also, why did they just throw wheels at you?
Yeah, this section is bizarre, but there's a part coming up that's actually really cool. And yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Why did they just
because
throw wheels in
darkness.
the car?
I think it happens like right here or
These cars gone bad.
Oh, manuscript. Gotta breathe. Things were never as simple in real life as in fiction. I'd lost count of the times I'd wish there'd be a clear reason for my writer's block. Something to fight, something to lash out on. There wasn't. I was filled with doubt. I was nothing like the hero in my books. Alex Casey had gone through his life with single-minded determination, never wavering from his goal. Even now, I was angry at myself, angry at Alice, angry at Barry. I was fumbling, and I had no plan.
Angry at Alice, angry at Barry. I was fumbling.
You definitely read that a lot faster than he did.
Yes, I did.
Also, can I point out that if these manuscript pages are supposed to be collectibles, they're really easy to find?
Well, some of them are just stuff that is handed to you, basically, and then some of them you have to actually seek out. So, more useless lore.
Oh, sup, Moon?
Aw, yeah, Moon, you look pretty. How you doing, Moon?
Pretty good, how about you?
You started off all hard, like, oh yeah, Moon, and then you said pretty.
Aw, yeah, Moon, you look good, girl.
Yo,
No,
Moon,
I
can I
like
get your
Thanks,
digits?
I really appreciate it.
Aww.
See, that's a section that I think is actually kind of neat.
That's pretty cool.
That's just a moment where it's like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Like there's
then
like
you're-
something coming forward in front of me to knock the darkness into these things. And then I have to fight inanimate objects filled with darkness, and it ruins it entirely.
Yeah. Also, it seems like it's strange that they have both the flashlight and the gun. It seems like had it just been weapons that were things that just created light, it might have been more interesting.
Yeah.
Fucking walk animation.
Yeah. Push you.
Oh boy, more things.
Oh, more things.
Oh boy, it's a tractor.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. I actually think I die here at some point because I just get bombarded by inanimate objects.
Way to spoil it, Sam.
I'm so sorry. Yep, there it is.
Oh.
Also, I like his death
Hooray.
animation.
Oh fuck! He just
He kind of windmills back and then it fades out.
yeah, exactly.
Never mind that he was hit by a fucking tractor.
Look,
Just by unnatural.
things happen sometimes, okay?
Tractors happen sometimes.
Yeah, never happened to you? Really?
I like the physics for these things is apparently akin to when you turn off friction in Grand Theft Auto for cars. Like they're not trying to come at you. They're just flopping around.
End over end in the sky.
Darkness
Yeah,
is
exactly.
very impotent in these cases. He's trying to trigger it, but also staying in cover, of
Exactly.
which there is none. That seems to be the other problem with these encounters is that they're I don't know what their purpose is.
Their purpose is to delay you getting to an objective.
Yeah, I know. It's just like what is the apparent gameplay here? Because like in most games, it's like about building a strategy and that kind of stuff. And with these ones, I guess there's this tower in the way that you can hide behind to prevent them from hitting you.
Exactly.
But for the most part, a lot of these fights just happen in wide open spaces.
Yep. To be fair, I'm also really bad at dodging stuff.
Is there a dodge move?
Watching you getting slammed in the face.
There is dodge that you can do. It's the same as the sprint button. So if you see me start sprinting and Alan does like this weird hunched over dodge.
Oh, that's okay. I thought I thought it was just a sprint animation. I was really confused.
It is, but because it triggers the dodge and then he sprints.
Huh.
It's odd.
Your fucking legs.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Look, more of the same.
Oh, but it's a bigger thing now.
See,
And it
okay,
crushed
I'm
you.
kind of glad you died there, because I'd be
Yeah.
like, there's no way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
hit by a fucking train car and lives.